Yes, it is the Weekend Deal Studio, and I welcome you to it. My name is Suleiman Babajal Osman. Yesterday, we started a conversation about the impact women are making in the society against all odds. We all know that, yes, women are trying their utmost best to ensuring that they add value to this world, but they face some specific challenges peculiar to them. As we look at these challenges, we're also going to be looking at the way forward to ensuring that they achieve whatever goal they set before them. Now, of course, we're going to have other companion segment that makes Weekend Deal what it is. Well, thank you for staying with us, and just flipping through some messages that came yesterday, and we couldn't exhaust them. Very interesting comments, I must say. But right now, let's just take this background report, which focuses on the impact women are making in the society, despite the challenges being faced.
Nations were made through women, which is why it is often said that if you train a woman, you train a whole nation. Heroines are found everywhere, even in our neighborhoods. Women who have distinguished themselves in all fields of human endeavors, be it in medicine, politics, athletics, and business, abound.
To admire Margaret Echo, she was a very strong politician, and she did a lot for women, especially in NCWS as well. We have Gambo Sahaba, very rugged politician, a northern politician. She had gone to detention many times, and she didn't deter from her activism. If you come to the southwest, you find women in the market. They have built houses. Some of them are selling kola nuts. Some of them are selling pepper and tomatoes. Some of them are frying akara, or they are frying plantain and so on. And they have built houses, and they have sent their children to school. Their children are in the university and so on.
When a woman is able to maybe fry akara, sell gari, and is able to train the children in the university, you should actually value such a woman and give credit to her, which means if such a woman is able to be in a position, you understand, where she will have, you understand, then she will do greater exploit.
The world was not complete until the woman came. Imagine a world without women. So, what do we need to do to help create and maintain a gender-equal world and for women to succeed in the world of entrepreneurship?
There are so many government interventions out there. A lot of women cannot access it. One could be ignorance. Maybe they don't even understand what it is. You sensitize them. You know, some women don't even take their money to bank. So ignorance is one of it. Many women have land, they have houses, but they don't have CFO. So they don't have the CFOs that will allow them collect substantial amount of money. So they will be collecting maybe the 30,000, 50,000 that does not need any collateral. Women don't really gather to support themselves. When you begin to rear your head up and you begin to make it, some are there ready to cut you down. That's the problem we face in this part of the world. We don't see people who are doing well and then hold their hands and drag them up. Instead, we try to push them down.
Sometimes we say, okay, NGOs are coming out, they say they want to train women in a computer, they want to train them in stuff like this. But there's a certain stage and a certain age women get to. It's no longer about computer. It's no longer about, we're talking about business, that petty businesses that can actually put food on the family's table.
Despite the challenges of starting up a business, a lot of women have been able to fight against all odds in standing out among their peers, making fortunes by diving into the world of entrepreneurship.
When a man is watching football, you can hardly tell him anything, he will not hear. You cannot discuss anything with him, he will not hear because he's concentrating. Or maybe you are watching film and he's talking to you. He will ask you to slow down the film because he thinks you are not concentrating, you are not hearing. But women, they will be in the kitchen, they are listening to their baby. They want to know any sound that comes from a baby that they left in the sitting room. They are busy thinking of what to prepare even for the dinner while they are preparing breakfast. They do so many things at the same time. They concentrate. I don't know how this is. I think it's a gift from God.
I'm a preacher, so I have to preach. I have to do the ministry work. I have to take care of my home. I have to take care of my children. I have to care about... When you mean children, it's not just children that are your biological children. There are a lot of them all together. So sometimes the brain is almost like bursting into pieces. And then when people hear you scream, they say you have gone mad. Because sometimes you cannot help but do what? Scream.
Nigerian women deserve a whole lot of accolades and also more opportunities to lead, as they have held the nation together and propelled development in every sphere of life, despite the challenges.
I believe that at this time, the men are supposed to, at least give us that, so that we are their wives, we are their mothers, we are their children, and if they give the 35%, it's still the same. We are still the same people, the same family, the same Nigerians. At least it will allow for women to have a quota that they can call their own. But to throw away everything altogether without giving us anything is so sad.
Before you were voted into power, you understand, both from the presidency down, you understand, there was a bill. Women, we gave you 35% before, and we are bringing it to 20%. Are you saying that they were not doing well? Is that what you want to say?
Our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on Nigerian women who are making giant stride in their field of endeavor against all odds.
We're going to be taking some of the messages, but we just encourage you to keep them coming, because I'm about to engage our first guest, and that is Dame Dr. Tumini Akogum, the Amoporobo of Opobo Kingdom, CEO, Minosi Limited. She's also the president, founder of Ningim Hope Alive Foundation and Marvelous Christian Friends. You're welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much.
Before while the story was going on, we're practicing how to pronounce your title. Did I get it right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right.
As if you're a member of the palace.
All right, you're welcome to our studio. You saw some of our reports earlier on, and then you will agree with me that when it comes to female entrepreneurs, they face some peculiar challenges. But growing up for you, you lost your father when you were just 4 months old.
You're right.
And then you had to face different challenges in life, and you started some businesses earlier on in life. Can you share with us some of your experiences growing up, doing some businesses to support yourself in school?
Well, these things just you are not born with it.
Yeah.
Situation and condition of things that when you see yourself almost losing out, you have to do something, you have to struggle. And you see other people struggling too. You are not alone, so you have to do something. And at the time when I was in primary school, it was a bit difficult for my mom to carry all the burden of paying the school fees. You can imagine the school fees at that time, maybe about 6 to 8 pounds. We're talking in pounds. And sometimes it was difficult. And I saw my friends, most of them selling kerosene, selling orange and banana after school. So I had to join them to be selling kerosene, selling other things that will help me to get extra money, at least to buy If they want me to buy exercise books that we have not bought before, I don't need to go and worry my mom, because we are 3. And for her to cope was not easy. But with those little tradings I was doing, I was able to meet up at least my dress and my sandals, exercise books most of the time, something that I need in school. Yes.
And it's quite interesting because I also know that from that humble beginning, you have risen to be a very successful businesswoman today. Now, talk to me about some peculiar challenges women face, women entrepreneurs, face while, engaging their businesses.
It's a very... well, I say that it makes you feel you are not in the same world with other people. If you are doing a business, you need capital. Like we have some mining projects that you need. Everybody knows that this business is a very capital-intensive business. It's not been easy assessing fund.
Yeah.
Even when you hear on television, radio that there are some funds available for this kind of project. By the time they ask you 1 or 2 questions about your collateral and things, they sound so far away from you. You continue asking and appealing, but you have to meet up with that, with the requirements, the things that they need. Those are the major funds, actually, if you are doing business, the major obstacle that you have.
But some will say that today the federal government has made available loan products, if you like, loan facilities that don't really need collateral and all of that. But let me talk to you about women organizations and what they can do differently to support each other, because I know you have been president of Army and Police
Retired and Police Officers Association
and all of that, not just once, like even after your husband left retired.
No, that was after.
Okay.
But before then, maybe zonal leader of PRO, secretary of NAWA.
The point is you have been instrumental in leadership positions of some of these organizations. Now, talk to me about, the challenges women face, because as a leader, I'm sure you must have heard different, views from women that you were leading.
Well, a lot of challenges are there facing you as a leader, as a business person, and the people you are leading, sometimes they discourage you.
Okay. How do you mean discourage you?
Because some of them will want you to give them these funds, if you have any, to share, as if they shouldn't refund it. They want to take it and then go away. Like I said, sometimes by school people, students that were given money in those days to pay for their WAEC and things, they left me and used the money to buy dresses and things for themselves instead of paying for WAEC or for JAMB forms. So sometimes some women think that manna will fall from heaven and it's free. They don't know that you have to really work hard, make sure that whatever you are given, you should either double it or make some profit and then return the capital to whoever lent you the money. Actually, it's not easy getting.
Perhaps if these women are trained in different kind of, skills. You talk about tailoring, you talk about maybe baking cake, you talk about, selling kuli-kuli, you talk about even mechanic work. But talking about mechanic, let's share this story of Nancy from Benin. Yes, of course. And she has a very wonderful story, quite inspiring, I must say. Let's take this, and after that, we engage our guest further.
What a man can do, a saying says, a woman can do better. 29-year-old Nancy Osamu Noah Magbe plies her trade in automobile mechanical engineering in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Nancy's sojourn in mechanical engineering started in 2012 when she became an apprentice under Sandra Agwebo, a renowned female mechanic in Benin City.
I would say it was beautiful. No pain, no gain, I would say. She's a good mentor. She corrects you. She needs to let you know, okay, this is the start firm, stand bow, stand straight. From my pay and trade center to Junior Soya Motors, I went through training there from Mr. Collins Ikename in Benin here. I did a lot of training. I went through training from NAPTEC. I did some other trainings anyway.
After her training with Madam Agwebo, Nancy said she worked in several automobile workshops in the metropolis, and 3 years ago she established her own outfit, the Auto Lady Tech on Sapele Road, Benin City. Her only 2-year-old daughter is also of help to the business.
I will give all the glory to God. At least having a place of my own first is an achievement to me. Having a place of my own, I have those who work under me. That's the best achievement ever, investing in others.
For the past 3 years, Nancy has been mentoring other young minds here. Being just a secondary school leaver is not a barrier.
Oh, she's nice, she's good, and she's hardworking, she's intelligent, and ever since I've been working with her, she's perfect and she's good.
She don't shut off any of the workers. She goes straight to do her work and she direct well. You understand? She's a wonderful woman that know her job.
One of her bosses and even customer attest that Nancy's diligence and style of plying her trade is second to none.
She's a very hard-working girl, and where she came, first I thought she's one of those girls outside, that they don't like to work anyway. But since she came working for us, and she came as an apprentice, but today she's doing well. So, and I believe that she'll go higher than the way she is now.
I must commend the job that is being done here and the high level of professionalism. It's highly commendable. I can attest that, yes, it goes far beyond gender, and I'm encouraging people, the young ones, to come out. Gone are the days where we are craving for white-collar job, in quotes, at least from what I'm seeing here.
For Nancy, the business is a very lucrative one, and anyone who diligent in it will definitely smile to the banks.
For me especially, I would say the best investment I've achieved so far is helping my family. That's one. Helping my parents, and at least I should not be counting so many things I've done with it now. But first is first. I can provide for my parents. That's enough.
It is not without challenges, Nancy explains.
The challenges I have most time, like, okay, maybe people seeing you as a female, being a mechanic. Some people still have doubts, though it's really going viral now, but people still didn't believe that, okay, female mechanics still exist and they can do better. The society presently now, everybody wants to make it through the fast lane. Okay, hard work pays. There is no pain without a gain. You have to take it step at a time. Okay, that's my advice for young ladies, even young men out there, because nobody wants to work again. You can see the workshop with you. I know how many boys and I had within the space of 1 year. They are no longer coming.
Nancy aspires for a standard automobile company in Benin City, and she is optimistic of government support to bring her dreams to fruition.
Well, of course, we must continue to support people like Nancy in order to thrive in their chosen field of endeavor. Now, we have some messages here. This one says, good morning. In my opinion, women are holding themselves back and do not love themselves. This person did not, say his name or where he's texting from, but is that something do you believe that? Because a lot has been said in that regard.
I don't want to say I believe, but you know, most of our women, when they get to a position where they can help other people, they feel maybe they are too big now. You can't assess them anymore. They want to be the only one there. I think God is helping us. Some of this attitude is beginning to change now.
Okay.
People are trying to, with these NGOs around, everybody trying to help in one way or the other. People are getting help.
You have your Nigerian Foundation. In what ways have you been, engaging women differently in terms of training and all of that to ensure that they are well empowered and not just the regular sharing of materials and all of that?
Well, that was what I started with, trying to help the people, especially in the rural areas, back there in the villages. I had to bring some young ladies together. I had 49 girls and one man whom we put together for about 3-4 weeks. Skill acquisition. We taught them how to do. You tell us what you love to do. We will get people to teach you. Anything you know you can do very well. We don't want to force you against what God has ordained you to do. Then when we finished teaching them, I bought equipment according to what you studied, what you learned how to do, and I shared it to them. Some of them are using it very well today. I even had a time I carried out free medicals to make sure the women who are in the villages, their children are not suffering, dying of. So we went to the village and got about 18 doctors to treat them, buy the drugs, share it, make sure people. They had some surgery that they performed in the hospital there for about 5-6 women, different type of diseases that will have killed them. Till tomorrow, some of them are still very grateful. And in Abuja here, we've done 1 or 2 things too. We get some of the widows we look after in Buhari and wherever again. Some of them are somewhere after Nyanya, I don't know what they call those villages. They come together, we teach them. We have to interview you and know which area you are good. And then we now buy equipment for you.
So it's not about you imposing on them.
No.
You try to investigate what they love most, so that you train them from
and
that.
They do good. They do well.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yes.
And of course, it has been quite an engaging conversation, but I must take this message. This person apparently happens to know you. She's just greeting. She said, greetings to Mommy Lahot, Mommy Licious Mommy. One of your fans, I must say.
My regards.
Now, thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And we have been chatting with Dame Dr. Tumini Akogun. She is the president and founder of Ningim Hope Alive Foundation. It's been a pleasure, ma.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sure from here you say you're going to church.
Yes, I'm already late.
Pray for us.
God will hear our prayer.
All right, let's take a break right now. And after that, the show continues. So please stay with us. We still have more messages coming in. This one says, good morning to you. I think most women are not ready to take the bull by its horn. They prefer to relax and be dependent to whatever men bring to the table. This one is coming from Ademola Fagbemi, and I have a guest here in the studio. I'm not sure she agrees with this. All right, so the next one says, women are the only solution to the Nigerian problem. My name is Timothy, shown from Abia. The next one says women should come out and do the needful. Nothing is given, it is taken. Women, take your place. And of course, we'll talk further about this. But let's take this next report from Kano of a woman who started off from, Zannambukar, knitting Zannambukar. Zannambukar is a traditional cap you see, people, wear now from most northern part of Nigeria, even though it has taken this nationalistic outlook now. But from that Zannambukar, she was able to develop a very successful furniture maker worth millions of naira now. So let's take this inspiring story, and after that, you get to meet our guest.
Though not opportune to attend Western education as a girl child, due to socio-cultural beliefs at that material time, Hajjiya Harness is a successful businesswoman for almost 4 decades, with a multi-million naira investment in furniture making, importation of foreign goods, rice and oil milling industries, just to mention but a few. Harness was born and brought up in Guru Town, Yobe State, but her parent, hails from Kano, later migrated to Guru to seek for Islamic knowledge.
Mahaifina ne je karatun Alkur'ani mai tsarki, ya kafa tsangaya a Guru, shine tsangaya Malam Ahmadu mai darasu.
As the saying goes, Rome was not built in a day. So it is with Yohana Sububa's journey to success. She started as an ordinary head cap maker, popularly known as Zannambukar in Hausa. But today, Hajjiya Harness is a proud owner of multi-million naira investment in different aspects of local and international business connections.
Daga lokacin da nake dinka hula Zannambukar nake kasuwanci a gidan mijina. Na ci gaba na tafi idan na ce zan baki tarihin kasuwancin nan ya yi tsawo.
For Yohana Sububa, business engagement should not be placed above family demand at all costs, because children upbringing is a primary duty of every responsible woman who cares for the future of her children.
Ina da yara guda 5 ko 6 ma zan ce, kuma ina da jikoki, gaskiya jikoki na ba zan iya tuna yawansu ba, suna da yawa. Sun kai kila za su kai guda 20, kuma ina da 'ya'yan jikoki guda 7.
Apart from giving direct employment to more than 200 people that earn a living under her business entities, Yohana Sububa has also trained about 100 young men and women in the business of buying and selling of foreign and locally made furniture and chrome materials. Those beneficiaries of Yohana Sububa gesture are today proudly owners of business of their own.
Lokacin da miji da na fara da na aura malamin makaranta ne, kuma gaskiya ne bai ban bakin ciki ba. Duk abin da nace zan yi a kasuwa ya bar ni ya ce nayi. Kuma bayan ma kasuwar, ina cikin kasuwar ma fa siyasa ta shigo. Kuma na ci gaba da yin siyasar a wannan lokacin. 1978 aka fara yin kungiyar PRP, sannan ana ce mata People Redemption Party, ba PRP ba. A lokacin ma na fara tara mata a cikin gida, na fara yi har na zama shugaban mata ta matan aure ta wannan lokacin. Ni mijina bai hana ni ba, har ita ma siyasa ta shiga jikina, har ma aka sanni, kowa ya sanni a cikin siyasar a haka. Har na saba har rana mai kamar ta yau, har yanzu nan gashi ina siyasar. Yanzu ma ni ce shugaban mata ta shiya arewa maso yamma gaba daya, jiha 7 a APC.
Yohana Su is a kind-hearted woman who believes that giving support to the less privileged and needy ones in the society can reduce poverty and criminal tendencies among Nigerians. As such, she runs a humanitarian services that touches lives of many individuals within her immediate and remote communities of Kano and beyond.
Namijina na fari a wannan lokacin Allah ya kara buwa muka rabu da shi, na sake auren wani dan bokon. Shi kuma dama dan bokon da na aura kwararre ne, kowa ya san shi a Kano, Garba Adamu Gumal, saboda haka shi ba mai matsala ba ne, ya bar ni na ci gaba da abin da nake yi haka har na haifi wa'annan ‘ya'yana kuma yanzu in na baki labarin ‘ya'yana ba za ki sha mamaki. Na farko da kin ga ina da Fauziya, likita ce kuma ita ce SA ta gwamna yanzu haka akan harkar lafiya. Ina da Dr. Ibrahim, dakta ne shi na ilimi, ya je London ya gama PhD, yanzu haka yana America, sun ɗauke shi aiki a Majalisar Ɗinkin Duniya. Ina da jikata da na rike, yanzu haka zance nake miki lecturer ce ita Rehana, kuma ni na rike ta. Ina da yata da na rike Sha'awa, ita ma yanzu tana auren kwamishina Karaye, ita ma lecturer ce, lecturing take yi kuma a wannan. Kuma ina da dan autana, ya je Ingila yayi karatu, yayi digiri, yayi masters, yanzu shine yake rike da kamfanin Nasiriya Furnitures. Shi kadai ne nace ya tsaya yi kasuwa.
Actually, I'm the only business-oriented person among all my siblings. So basically, we share the same idea, me and her, and so many things together. She's a good soul, she's very kind and generous, and if every woman is like her in this city, like Nigeria will never be the same.
Hajjiya Harness's success story is worthy of emulation to present-day young men and women who are ready to avail themselves to opportunities abound.
Well, very touching and inspiring, I must say. And the one thing very important there, if men can do the due diligence by supporting women, the sky would definitely not be their limit, of course, to be their starting point. And let me quickly welcome our next guest in the studio. She is a barrister, Barrister Prada Uzodima, a legal practitioner, and she has done a lot also in the humanitarian from a humanitarian point of view. Now, welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
That was quite an inspiring story.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you have been following the proceedings at the National Assembly, and some are saying that perhaps men are intimidated by women, men feel scared sometimes, you know, having women in position of power because they don't really know what they might do. Is it about the fact that we are living in a male-dominated society, or men are afraid that where they have failed, women will succeed?
I think it is a bit of both, right? That is the whole idea of patriarchy. The fact that it's a male-dominated world where men are expected to aspire to the higher positions, the higher roles, and women are supposed to be at home, you know, to aspire to things that are lesser, you know, things of more importance. They say that a woman should be in the kitchen, you know, a woman should be in the house. You know, I think in Nigeria right now, the idea of a female president is a laughable idea to the majority of Nigerians because they don't believe that a woman should be aspiring for a position such as president. They see it as a male's position, right? And this is what we are pushing for when we want the amendment of the Constitution. We're pushing for affirmative action. We're pushing for more roles for women. We're pushing for equality. You know, I feel like it is not a difficult question. It's not a difficult answer. All we want is equality between both genders. You know, we want to stop being looked at by our gender, but more of our qualifications, our experiences, what we can offer. And at the end of the day, all of this is for a progressive Nigeria. And I feel like that is what all Nigerians should want, regardless of gender. Okay. A progressive Nigeria. Yeah, the progress of Nigeria. And you're talking about gender now. Have you, in your field of work, you know, experienced that, thing to do with the gender just because you are a female lawyer? Have you been looked down upon? Do you have experiences that you might want to share with us? I think it's more of, so that's what I refer to as gender bias, you know, where I'm a lawyer, right? So most of my involvement is in the courts, you know, even down to referring to us as men of the bar, right? Okay. Or calling my lord, or so. In terms of terminologies, right, it's more of referred to as men at the bar, right? Okay. And you see women pushing for us to be referred to as maybe ladies or something else as opposed to men at the bar. You know, in terms of my lord, we have some people saying me lord when they see a lady, and and some judges are not like against it. They're like my lord. You know, even in terms of being, for example, an actor and actress, they'll say there's no actress. Even if I'm female, I am still an actor. So I see that we see these gender biases in different different positions, different work environments, not just in the legal field, also different types of creative industries as well. So gender bias is where you strip away my qualifications, you strip away my experiences, and the first thing that you're focusing on is the fact that I am a woman. And because I am a woman, you feel that I should be maybe subdued or underneath because you're a man. And I think that ideology is very flawed. I think it comes from a place of ignorance, which is what most Nigerians actually are having today, a place of ignorance where, and I feel like it's because of lack of education, lack of exposure, and to an extent, intimidation. Most men know that if a woman was given the opportunity, she would excel and she would do better than probably her male counterparts. So they deny women that opportunity. In
fact, not to cut you, I've seen situations whereby, professional women have, excelled in whatever they do. But sometimes they label that, okay, fine. Maybe if you're working, let's pick the entertainment industry now. Maybe you have a female manager and then they'll say, oh, she's successful because they have a kind of relationship with the person she is working for. They don't tend to look at her from a professional, point of view to say that, yes, she's qualified to actually execute this job before her. Yes,
it happens every day. And I feel like that is what we are trying to advocate against. Why, if I'm a successful woman today, if I'm at the top, why do most Nigerians or why do most males feel that maybe perhaps I have slept my way through? But if it was a man that was in that same position, they feel like he has earned his way through, he has worked through it. I feel like that comes from a place of ignorance, like I said, and these are the things that have been enshrined in us as individuals, both traditionally and culturally, even to an aspect religiously, where we're told that women should aspire to be in the house, take care of the kids, and to not aspire for anything more. I feel like we at home watching this program right now need to get rid of that bias, teach our children moving forward that as a woman, there should be no limitation to what you can aspire to be. Regardless of your gender, you can be anything that you want to be. Look at the United States of America. We have the first VP, Kamala Harris.
But some will tell you it took them time before they get there.
Exactly, but I feel like Nigeria is moving at a very slow progress. Okay. If, for example, we're trying to push bills that advocate for the equality of women and we're being rejected, we're being denied. And this is, the bills that we're pushing for are the bare minimum, I would say. Why is it 35% affirmative action so difficult? And the question behind my mind is, why is it so difficult? What is the opposite? What is against it? So if you give that to us, what does it take away from you? Okay. So these are the questions that we need to ask. Why? And I feel like what we need to do as Nigerians is have the knowledge to push our actions in the right place. Look at the senators and the House of Representative members that denied this bill. Write to them, call them up. It is your given right. We also have a right to also look at the voters register, who voted yea and who voted nay. Ask them, why did you vote nay? What was the reason behind this? Why are you so against equality for women? Why are you so against women, aspiring to these roles? So I think these are the things that we need to be doing as women, putting our actions in the right places where they actually matter.
Where they actually matter. And I know that, of course, women are very, very, these days, very intelligent right from time, and then are considered to be very good managers, in fact, better managers than men, their male counterpart. And some have also said that women are their own enemies because they are oftentimes don't really support each other. We'll talk about that after we must have taken this next report, which focuses on women advocating for women cause in the Nigerian society. This is put together by Ijoma.
Give it up for the woman. Meet Sherina Okoye, a 32-year-old Nigerian lawyer who is impacting lives, especially the lives of Nigerian women and children, through her self-funding organization.
I'm also the founder of African Kids and Women Rights Empowerment Initiative, Akari For short. Over the years, we've done a couple of projects, but our core areas are women and children.
Sherina belongs to the category of those young Nigerian women from a humble background who are consistent with their dreams against all odds to advocate for human and gender rights in their only two ways.
So I was going to focus on strictly women, but then someone brought a case to my attention, an 11-year-old girl who was being molested by her father, and the mother was willing to let the abuse continue because she didn't have the financial capacity. So at that point, I knew that I simply had to do something for women and children. So that was like a turning point for me.
Following her passion for women and children, she designed a program that collates and documents the stories of women who excelled in struggle and hardship. and she uses same to teach others.
We also featured stories of some dead heroines as well, with the simple goal of inspiring the everyday African woman. And then when we collated those stories, at the end of the year, we gave an award of $1,000 to one of the women to encourage her in her own field of work.
But that is not all. She joins her counterparts in pushing legislative laws for women inclusiveness in leadership positions. She carries out free health intervention projects for prison inmates. She also trains and coaches women and girls in knowing their gender rights, and many more. But in all these efforts, one intervention captured my attention to her.
And that was an anti-trafficking project. There was this particular case. We had a young girl, her name was, let's just Esther. We're not going to give more than that. But she was in Malaysia and she had been taken there at the age of 18 on the pretext that she was going to school. But when she got there, she was forced into prostitution. By the time we met Esther, she was already 21, so she had been 2 years in prostitution and it had already done a lot of things to her. At the point we got to know about her, she was suicidal. She wanted to take her life. The battle was, first of all, talking her off the ledge, convincing her not to take her life. And that's where that Celebrating Strong African Women was very helpful, because we started forwarding her stories of those women. And she was seeing some of them. We had one of them that had been raped over 20 times. And she read so many stories of other women and saw what they were going through. It gave her a fresh lease on life. And for the first time, she was saying, okay, she didn't want to commit suicide anymore. She was ready to work with us to repatriate her back to Nigeria.
The story of Esther is one of those inhuman life experiences that many Nigerian women and girls are subjected to.
We wrote to NAPTI because that's really their core area. We wrote to the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. We also wrote to International Organization on Migration, IOM. Then the issue was now how to bring her back. When we asked to know the cost, we were told it was 6,000 ringgit, as at then approximately 600,000 Nigerian naira. Subsequently, when we involved the chairman of Nigerians in Diaspora and she tried to find out, she was told a different thing. She was told it's 10,000 ringgit. So the disparity got us worried. At a point, we're just basically on our own fighting to bring her back because there was no support from anywhere. And she was sliding back into depression. She was losing hope again. Then in the end, though, IOM finally was able to bring her back to Nigeria. For the period of 1 year, we got her enrolled with the help of the AG of Edo State, and she got enrolled in a catering business, and then she started learning catering. And then at the end of the year, she opened her own restaurant. She's now a business owner running her own catering restaurant. She even sent us a video recently.
Most ready, like 70% loaded. Yeah.
Today, Esther is doing well in her home state, courtesy of Sherina and her organization. She is willing to educate other girls not to fall victim of sex trafficking. This is indeed one case solved, too many unheard. But Sherina has this to say.
As a woman, you should be empowered. The worst thing that happens to a woman is to be without empowerment. I've seen women stay in all manner of devilish and demonic situations, serious oppression, undergoing serious oppression and keeping quiet because they don't have the financial empowerment. You don't have to depend on anybody anywhere. You have what it takes to succeed on your own. The first step is for you to believe that you can.
I give it up for the woman.
An interesting view there, and trust me, the woman must be supported, because if she is supported and empowered, the sky would definitely be the limit. This one, the next message says, in my opinion, if a woman becomes the president of Nigeria, Nigerians will smile again. This one is coming from Abakaliki. You did not mention your name. And the next one says, women are the only ones stopping themselves. Does the Constitution stop women from forming all women inclusive party? Is there any law preventing women to vote only for women? This one is coming from Charles from Makodi. Well, interesting comments there. You want to respond to them?
I'll respond to Charles. Okay, so we look at practicability of things, right? Is there any law stopping women from forming an all-political party? No. But what is the practicability that when that party is formed, people will actually come out and support women? That the majority of Nigerians will come out and support women, when the majority of Nigerians feel that a woman's place is in the kitchen or at home. So that is the practicability of the situation. In terms of also funding as well. Look at things as simple as a presidential election, where most Nigerians feel like the only parties that are competent is APC and PDP. They ignore the remaining other 100 and something political parties that are running. So don't you think that a woman or women forming a political party would just fall into the gap of the other 100 and something political parties that actually exist, not the two main parties that have been, vice versa, going back and forth in terms of
the argument
presidency?
is that this political party might really be difficult to form, given the fact that it is perceived that women really support fellow women, most especially when it comes to politics.
I think as women, we can't say that we are flawless, in terms of what we do. We don't have our own mistakes. I feel like there's a difference from what we were back then in terms of supporting each other. Okay. We see that in different levels, from the UN to also locally, where women come out to support each other. I mean, look at the women that were demonstrating at the House of Assembly a few days ago as to the bill that the bills that were first to be passed. So you saw a bunch of women coming together. I also feel like there are some other planned protests coming up this week, given the International Women's Day coming up on Tuesday, to also say that women are supporting each other and women actually want equality and women want progress for Nigeria if given the opportunity, so...
Well, Barrister Uzodimma, I know you are also the co-founder of the Ability Life Initiative, a foundation engineer to bridge the gap for persons living with a disability. Yes. Now, if the woman is facing all these challenges, I'm wondering just how, double of a challenge it will be for the woman living with disability.
Yes, and I think that is something that my foundation also focuses on. We're advocating for the rights of women and the rights of people living with disabilities in different aspects, in terms of education, in terms of housing, in terms of also political involvement as well. Imagine if the majority of Nigerians feel like a woman that does not have a disability is also not qualified to run for a political position. And you can imagine how majority of Nigerians look at a woman that has a disability, and most Nigerians forget that disability comes in different forms, invisible disabilities, visible disabilities, just because someone is, and I like to say this, right, there's ability in disability. That, for example, if I have a mobility issue, and I'm a person living with disability, does that stop my brain from functioning? Does that stop me from thinking, from assisting, from helping? I think Nigerians need to understand the difference between having a physical disability and using your brain. The fact that I have a physical disability or I have an invisible disability does not stop me from functioning as a normal human being. Nigerians need to look at people living with disabilities as normal human beings so that we can progress and move forward like our other countries.
Yeah, like other countries. And I know that other countries are also, the women who have been very successful in other countries are doing the needful by ensuring that they serve as mentors to other women. Do you think successful Nigerian women are doing that to their fellow women? Now, take example of, like a woman in the Senate. Do you think they're doing enough to bring other women, to say, oh, let me be your mentor, let me support you to actually attain something, probably maybe that councillorship, the state assembly and all of that. Do you see that, mentorship relationship among the women folk in Nigeria?
I see the mentorship. I think it's something that is definitely there. Women at the top positions actually want to make space for other women to come on board. After all, when we talk about, we saw, for example, the First Lady of Nigeria sat at the House to advocate for the amendments of these bills, just as a way of also showing support for other women. We look at, for example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, for Women Affairs, Mrs. Pauline Dame, pushing for the equality of women, creating awareness programs, creating empowerment programs, not just for women that are also in the work environment, but for women in the local governments as well. So I think that mentorship program is there, but they can only give mentorship to the best of their ability. If we're being denied positions for equality for political elections or for political positions, then how far can we actually go, to say that women are welcome on board? We want women to be part of this conversation politically. We want women to have a place politically in Nigeria. So I think we need to look at the practicability of the situation, If women are being denied those top positions, House of Rep members, political appointments, governorship, presidency. How far can we really go if we're limited already? You know, so that is the question.
Okay, do you feel that maybe the tactics need to change, the method needs to change? Maybe getting the support of men more,
yes.
Maybe having the support of men right from home, like the husbands. What kind of conversations should be happening now in order to galvanize support from the men folk?
I feel like most of the male leaders should actually come out and support women, because not only are you supporting women and pushing the ideology that a woman can be anything, your young daughters at home are looking at you as well. Your wives at home are looking at you as well. You know, if you are limiting, for example, telling your daughter that she can only aspire to a certain position, you know, and you're telling other women that is also like limitation from the house, right? Before they go to school and are being told something different. I feel like men should come out to support women. You know, I want more men to be feminists. I want more men to believe in the idea of equality for both men and women. You know, I want more men to actually cheer for this amendment of the Constitution. I want more men to come out and say that as a woman, your qualifications, your experiences should be looked at first, not your gender. You know, I feel like if we have more men coming out for these roles, pushing for this, advocating for this, then we can see progress. You know, I want these bills to be reconsidered. I want us to have the 35 affirmative action. Look at something. Why was something as simple as indigenship rejected? You know, why is a male allowed to have a foreign wife and that will have automatic citizenship, but a woman is not? What are you telling women exactly? You know, what are you telling women, and how other countries viewing Nigeria, you know, if we're rejecting bills such as simple as nationality for foreign wives of women? So,
well, Barrister, some would say that the idea of patriarchal society or masculinity is actually built right from home, where the father and the mother believes that only the girl child goes to the kitchen, only the girl child sweeps at home, the male child comes back from school, the next thing he wants is full serve and all of that.
Yeah.
What can we do differently in order to change the narrative right from the home?
Sensitization. You know, sensitization means to go to the homes, go to the schools, go to as little as the primary schools, to begin to encourage our women that there is no limitation for what you can aspire to be. You know, we have, for example, we see most of the best chefs today are male. You know, look at the top chefs in the world, they are male. You know, but you're being told from the start as a woman that your position is in the kitchen, your position is to take care of children. That is not an easy role. And I applaud the women that do that. But I feel like women that don't want to also be in the kitchen or be at home should be given opportunities to aspire for something else. You know, I'm going to raise my children to aspire for anything they want to be. And I feel like majority of Nigerians should raise their young girls to aspire for anything they want to be. You know?
And I don't know that even in remarks, comments, and all of that, sometimes our minds are wired to, have this male-dominated thing in our minds, because a woman, imagine a woman telling a fellow woman, because she's going through some challenges, and she's saying, man up, man up. You understand? Instead of woman up, right?
Exactly. I feel like the whole patriarchy boils down to terminologies that we use as well, where we also tell our little boys at home that they can't cry, men shouldn't cry, you know, men should tough up, and that is why we have a high rate of suicide.
Should we be telling the girl child now?
No, I feel like
Girls
we should tell.
Cry?
I feel like it's more of equality, right? If you have an emotion that you feel the need to express, you should express it, regardless of your gender. It is okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to be sad. Why are we telling our little boys at home not to cry? You know, what ideology are we building in them? You know, look at the suicide rates. The highest are men, because men don't cry, men don't share their emotions, men don't share their feelings, you know. In Nigeria, people think that, why is a man crying? You know, why is he being soft? Why is he being ladylike? So down to terminologies, you know, and these are the things that we need to sensitize our kids about, our children at home, in the house, and even in the school. You know, men can cry. I would tell my boys, cry if you want to and get over it. You know, why are we saying men can't cry? You know, so things like that, for example. Sensitization, education comes a long way, you know, to rid ourselves of those ideologies that have been enshrined in us and also in our parents as well. So we need to bridge that gap, I think. Okay. You know?
And trust me, one thing I like about crying, I cry too.
I'm happy that you're saying that.
Seriously, because you kind of feel free sometimes after you must have, shed out those emotions. But quickly, empowerment, economic empowerment is
Yes.
very, very important to achieving anything we want to, the female gender to achieve in the society. Quickly talk to us about that as we wrap up this conversation.
Yeah, in terms of empowerment, I feel like there's a lot more that we can be doing to empower women. You know, even most of the empowerment programs that are being held, you see it in, for example, tailorship or how to sew, how to sell palm oil. Why are we not empowering women in terms of education? You know, in terms of ICT programs, leadership skills, you know. If we want female leaders, then we need to teach them and empower them in that aspect. We can't say that women should not only aspire to the kitchen, but we're only empowering women in terms of how to make, for example, palm oil. You know, but I understand why these things are being done because, again, we look at practicability, you know.
Yeah.
If we empower these women in terms of ICT, in terms of leadership skills, would they be given the opportunity to chase that path? Or if we empower them in terms of, for example, palm oil production or perfume production, is there a better environment for them to excel in that environment? You know, so we need to target the issues from the top. We need our rights. Those bills that we're advocating for, we need them. You know, it sounds almost impossible to the majority of Nigerians that why should a woman be aspiring for things like that? But the question is, why not? In 2022, why not? When other countries have gone past this, when other organizations are pushing for this. Look at the UN supporting women. So why is Nigeria so hard against women aspiring for political positions?
After all, woman right is human right.
It is. Well said.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your thought with us. It's been quite exciting, and we wish you the very best. And maybe we should begin to advocate for more of he for she. Right?
Yes.
I am one for your information.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. We've been chatting with Barrister Prada Uzodimma, a young legal practitioner who is doing very well in her, chosen field. And let me quickly take this message before we go. According to the population statistics in Nigeria, women have over 63.1% of our population. Since no law is stopping them from forming a political party, I suggest they should utilize this number during the election to either form a party or support female contestants. This one is coming from Chima from Benin, and a couple of messages, going the same way. But all I can say is that we cannot exist in isolation. We need each other, and the female gender must be supported. That enabling environment must be created for them to thrive. That's much we can take on the show today. Next week, we are going to be looking at rituals. Yes, the trend is on. Certainly, it's not something that we want to see. We'll talk more about it next weekend. Bye for now.